Good morning, good morning, do 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 do. Good morning to you. Good morning, welcome to a daily dose of joy. Got up this morning to get out in the garden, and so I'm a little late on posting my daily dose of joy using my voice. And I have been thinking, though, about sharing some funny Whoopsie Daisy stories I heard last night. So I think the tool we'll use today is the Whoopsie Daisy tool. Let's take 3. Just good breaths together. Hopefully y'all can hear the cicadas or the katydids. Forget which one is daytime and which one's nighttime. And this time of day, who knows? It sounds good out here. And then now I'm going to share some Whoopsie Daisy stories. I had a wonderful dinner out with friends last night. They treated me to this beautiful French restaurant. The food was amazing. And we were just, oh my gosh, we were laughing and laughing. Some of the stories, so we started telling Whoopsie Daisy stories. And the theme was run-ins with the law. And these are pretty upstanding people. But there were plenty of stories to go around. Okay. So, my friend, he told this story of going to pick his kids up at schools, middle school or elementary school. No, it was elementary school. And he was going to pick up his 2 oldest kids at elementary school. And his sweet, wonderful wife was going on a creative artist break weekend with a bunch of friends and like so excited. So he's going to the school to pick up the kids. But he's a quite well-known chef, very busy man. And so he leaves what he's doing, jumps in the car, goes to get the kids, hurrying a little bit. And about right in front of the school, he gets pulled over by a policeman saying, hey, you're going a little too fast. And he's like, thinking, oh, well, no big deal. This is just a warning. I was clearly not going very fast. But they asked for his driver's license. And unaware to him in his busy life, he's let his license expire. So it's pickup time. All the parents are coming, all the kids, hundreds of kids out in front of the school and line around the block because he's gotten there at a good time where he can get in and get out, take care of his kids. But now it's just packing up with parents and cars. And so he's out in front of the school with a police car. But it gets better. So then they say to him, sir, I'm going to have to take you down to jail because you're not allowed. There's a sort of small town in the big city of Atlanta, and they live at this sort of Decatur. It's a little town, 15 minutes from downtown Atlanta, but sort of its own little sweet spot. And so, that's not a far trip to take him to jail. So I guess that's why. I wouldn't think you get taken to jail for an expired license, but I guess driving without a proper license, big deal. So he's like, wait a minute, I host a bunch of food for folks. I think there's some people that can vouch for me in the police department that I'll take care of this immediately. I'm responsible for my 2 kids. I have to take care of them. And so then the police chief comes down. So now there's another, and the chief is like, oh, wait, yeah, I can totally vouch for him. He'll take care of this immediately. But let's let him take care of his kids. And they said, but the problem is just they still have to follow procedure. So he cannot drive. Absolutely cannot drive. So, but the police chief is like, hey, do you want me to give you a ride home and take your kids? And, we understand, this was an accident and you'll take care of it. And so they get the kids in the back of the police car in front of the whole school. And he's like, yeah, my kids would love that. That sounds great. But then he gets better. Then the police chief says, I'm really sorry, but it's standard procedure. I have to pat you down before you go in the back. Like, there are no exceptions. We have to follow protocol. So he's spread eagle on the cop car, being patted down in front of the entire elementary school. And he's a very go with the flow sort of confident guy. So he's not thinking that much of it. Like, this is more humorous to him than anything else. And, an inconvenience, but he's not, this isn't eliciting any alarm. But all the other parents in the line are putting in emergency calls to his wife saying, your husband's being taken away. Your kids are being taken away. They're being arrested in front of the school. And I got a whole van load of people in front of her house. And she's like, I'm just in jolly mode. I get this little break. She says, I'm just looking at the van with my friends in it. And my bag's going to go in. And then I'm looking at the phone and thinking, okay, well, there goes the weekend. And about that time, a police car pulls up in front of her house. And her husband and all of her kids pile out. Whoopsie Daisy. And he had been trying to call her but couldn't get through because all the concerned parents that were reporting the news. And then the parents were also heralding to his defense. There was posts on the elementary school Facebook page about, overzealous, and he's now in defense of the police explaining what had happened. It was so funny and so funny to hear him tell it. Oh my God, to hear him tell it like a decade later. And it all came back because we were talking about all the things he does for the community and how well known he is in the community. And he said, there was one time and it really saved me. You do good stuff and put it out in the world, it comes back around to you. But oh my God. Oh my gosh. So whoopsie daisy. Whew, okay. So that was only their first one. This family roundtable of run-ins with the police stories. Luckily, their two older kids were off at college because that story happened over a decade ago. But their youngest teen, well, what about that story about Ethan, the oldest brother, who's not there at the table to defend himself? So the mom tells the next one, the Whoopsie Daisy story, on the theme of run-ins with the police. And she says, well, she had used to work in New York, and they had a little tiny newlywed bungalow in Atlanta, and they'd had their first two kids, and they invited their New York friends down, and the place was just packed to the rafters for a long weekend of New Yorkers coming to Atlanta. And us Atlantans love Atlanta. It's beautiful here. And we got a lot of good, sophisticated stuff too. Yeah, we got some backward stuff, but we got some sophisticated stuff. It's a real city. Anyway, she's just hometown proud, like putting on a great entertainment for them. And, of course, great spread and food. But while she is distracted with her guests and having a great time catching up with her friends, her 5-year-old places a call to 911. And it's early in the morning. And so the police come with that big, kind of scary police knock on the door. And all the people from New York, are all sleeping on sofas and in rooms. Everybody comes out. It's like, what's up? Whoopsie daisy. And then the kid who's with us confesses about, oh yeah, well, you remember the time that, I thought maybe Charlie convinced me to do it, but I kind of really knew what I was doing, that I called 911. They came to the house, and I hid behind the curtain while Dad answered the door. And she remembered having to come out from behind the curtain and apologize to the officer. Oh, Lord. The whoopsie daisies. And then that reminded me of one that I had. So hopefully these stories are percolating up a run-in with authorities for you or somebody you love or know and give you a laugh. So what came to my memory was being 16, big deal. I can drive, and I was probably close to 17 because I'd gotten an old car, bought it from another kid at the high school, very old, almost vintagey car. It was a Oldsmobile, and it had a soft top, so you could put the top back. Big black car, like it was like driving two vinyl white sofas down the road in a black aluminum boat. I mean, it was big, and there's a big hill behind the school towards home, and wide street. Just the kind of place where you might gain a little more speed than you'd expect. And I think I'm literally driving the car home from the boys' house where I bought the car. And I go flying down this hill, and then almost immediately, sirens, police officer, and he speeds up. He's like right on my tail with the side. And so I immediately like pull over on the next side street, park the car. And in true new teenager hormones, like I burst into tears when he gets out of the car screaming. I mean, I was fine, and then he got out of the car screaming, and I was like, ah! And he's coming, and he's got his nightstick, and he's smacking it in his hand. I'm like, what is going on? And then he gets to the driver's side of the car and looks in, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, oh, you're not blankety blank. The previous owner of the car had gotten in so much trouble speeding on that street that the police officer was furious. So as soon as he saw a different driver, he just blanched. You could tell he was like, oh God, this could be bad. This super aggressive charge. He was like, oh, whoops. And he's like, just start talking really fast. I could barely understand what he was saying, but basically understood I should never, ever, ever speed. And he was going to let me off with a warning this time. And y'all, let me tell you, I did not. He put the fear in me. I especially on that street, I'd be like watching the road, watching the speedometer, watching the road, watching the speedometer. Whoopsie daisy. Life is full of fantastic whoopsie daisies. And like I've shared before, part of it is telling these stories, engaging your hippocampus, getting in there and like pulling out the memories. Part of it is telling other people, sharing a laugh, sharing the oxytocin of connecting to somebody. I mean, it made the dinner party for me. Well, the food was... That shows how good the laughs were, because the food was on top drawer. But I really hope it encourages you to see the whoopsie daisy stories in your life, to keep microdosing our brain with these positive neurotransmitters so our brain can't help but change. Yes, the more we fire and wire those pathways that see the lightness, that see the joy in our journey, the more strength and dose chemistry we build as a baseline in our brain. It seems like I'm just telling you funny stories, but we're doing some powerful things over time, incrementally, that I'm so grateful for. It has changed my life and continues to change and expand my life. And I wish the same for you. So let's take 3 solidarity breaths that we paused to wire our journey towards joy. May today surprise and delight us. And I look forward to this time tomorrow. Thank you for being here with me to build this positive momentum in my life and all of our lives. To take the opportunity to let your mirror neurons hook on to where I am and build a little of that same functionality. I love what I do. I love doing this. And I'm sending y'all appreciation and joy to launch us all out into our day. See you tomorrow.